Hey y'all, how y'all doing? This is your girl Tashi, and I am back with Lost in the Pond. And this is 6 American things I can no longer live without. What? Let's get straight to it.
To uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to things and stuff. Specifically, things and stuff that after living in the United States for nearly 16 years, I can no longer live
16
without.
years.
When I first moved here in 2008, I had all these British people saying, "Ooh, don't you become all Americanized?" And I hope those people aren't watching because, as you can see, there's no going back. I have become Americanized to the extent that I am now, in fact, an American citizen. And because of that, and since I've lived here for so long, you really do start to pick up an attachment to certain things. And people who've been subscribed to this channel for a long time are probably expecting me to say air conditioning right off the bat, because I've done that 1,000 times, and it's because I've done it 1,000 times that I'm not going to do it in this video, but just take it as read that AC ordinarily is one of the things I can't live without, even though I did in Britain for 26 years. And if you aren't yet subscribed to this channel, do that now! In the meantime, here are American things that I can no longer live without. I feel like this one is just really embarrassing because when I lived in England, we knew about drive-through restaurants in America and thought that looks a bit too extravagant. What's wrong with catching a bus and then walking the extra half a mile to get to the place?
There's no wrong with it,
ordering your food there. At least then you just.
There's no wrong catching a bus or or walking it. There's no wrong with that if you live close to it. Like a lot of people in other countries, they always think that Americans are lazy. We just don't want to walk nowhere. That's not true. Especially if, I can't speak for everybody else, but I live in New York, so we do a lot of walking. Okay, we could walk, and the reason why we could walk to a lot of places is because a lot of stores are very convenient for us. McDonald's convenient for me. If I want to walk, well, if I do walk it, it's gonna take me about I'll say 15. Probably gonna take me 15 minutes walking. I'll say 15 minutes walking to McDonald's from where I live. Yeah, because McDonald's is really not that close to me. But there are people who, McDonald's is nowhere close to them. It's not a 15-minute walk. It might turn into a whole hour and a half, 2-hour walk to McDonald's. So most people here in America, they have to drive. You have to drive or take the bus or a cab or whatever. Not everything is convenient. Like, it depends on the state. Like I said, certain states, they don't have stuff that's convenient for them. So you have to travel far. Okay. It's going to be like I'll say maybe a 20 to who knows, hour drive just to go to the store. So yeah, it's not that easy, people. It's not that easy.
The calories you're about to eat at, say, McDonald's.
US
and I
is
held on to that feeling
huge
for quite a while, but then I turned 40 and realised that I like my comforts, that I'm lazy, and that my dog Arthur really likes drive-thrus because it often comes with the promise of a puppuccino. And since I left Britain, I have heard that drive-thrus have popped up in Britain. And if you are British and you are watching this, have you experienced drive-thrus where you live? And if so, do they drive in the opposite direction around the building? Number 2, mixer taps. You might have seen my YouTube short from last week where I spoke about this phenomenon, which is less of a phenomenon and more just the norm in most places in the world, but not in Britain. And if you don't know the reasons for that, go and watch the short in question. The point is, in the house that I grew up in Britain, and just most houses in Britain, the bathrooms and the kitchens have sinks with separate hot and cold taps. And for 26 years, I had to wash my hands like this. Get some soap, nice and foamy. Turn on the hot tap while getting foam on it. Run your hands under that. That's bloody hot. Turn on the cold tap to cool them down. Ah, that's nice. That's really nice. It's actually getting a bit too cold now, and they're done. And I never once thought to myself, there must be an easier way to do this. I did turn the taps off.
Thank God whoever came up having both temperature of the water in one. Because who has time to be doing that? I don't remember doing that, though, growing up. I don't remember doing that. Having two different mixed faucets. Like, I don't remember that. I just remember having one. That's terrible.
I'm not wasting.
Because if the water's too hot and too cold, you gotta go back and
There
forth.
was just one faucet in the sinks in the house that I lived in initially. I just thought, well, maybe this is a quirk of this particular house, and didn't really think too much of it. But I did like the fact that you could choose the temperature that came out of the tap. It didn't have to be scalding hot. It didn't have to be freezing cold. It could be somewhere in between. I don't think in the middle is the perfect temperature. That's too lukewarm. I'm the sort of person who gets his steak medium well, and so when I've had a steak and my hands are all greasy, I like my temperature to be medium well. I might have thought about this too much. One of the biggest American things that I can't live without, and one that I've not really spoken about publicly, is vans. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, Lawrence, you and Tara have a Prius. That's hardly a van, is it? Well, calm down, you keyboard warrior. Is it warrior? Warrior? Because I'm not referring to the vehicle type. I'm referring to Vans shoes. And as you can see, these are a little worn.
I didn't know he was talking about that. I thought he was talking about like the vehicle.
But the point is, these are my favorite shoe brand. And you might be thinking, Lawrence, I didn't know you were a skater boy. Because as we know, Avril Lavigne is a massive fan of this channel. And I'm not a skater boy, although granted, I did once have an addiction to Tony Hawk's 3. The point is, I am somebody with long legs, rubbish knees, and I don't like shoelaces. Now, I should add that Vans has...
I hate shoelace. I hate shoelace. I hate it. Like the shoes that I'm wearing, well, I don't have it on me, but the sneakers that I wear Skechers. I love Skechers because I have flat feet. Yes, your girl has flat feet. I was born with flat feet. I don't have an arch. So the only shoes that make my feet comfortable is Skechers because they have the memory foam inside. And it's comfortable. Sometimes I feel like I'm not even wearing anything when I'm on the street. I feel like I'm wearing slippers. It's because it's so comfortable. And the one I always get is the one that it has a shoelace, but you don't have to tie and do anything. It's already tied already. So you don't have to touch it. Yeah. Hopefully I can show you a picture of the sneakers that I wear. But yeah. I love those sneakers. I love them.
Lace-up shoes too, but they are pointless. Now, this is not sponsored by Vans. If it was, I'd probably show much nicer pairs of shoes. But I've just become a fan, a van fan or a van. And they're comfortable. I walk in these every day with Arthur when he's not treating them like a meal. And they've been everywhere with me, from the beaches of Lake Michigan to the mountainsides of West Virginia. And they've got the scars and the odor to prove it.
Whew. Oh my gosh.
Americans, did you ever think that you'd hear a British person say this? I can't live without American English. Now, for me, more than most people, that's true because firstly, it forms part of the basis of my job, comparing and contrasting our two countries' varieties of English. But it also plays a big part in my everyday life. I mean, firstly, I'm married to an American-born citizen. Secondly, and I've done videos about the precise Americanisms in question, I myself have picked some up. Many, in fact. I come from a country where we are forever fearful of the Americanization of English within Britain. The thing is that I would say to that is that Britain lost that fight a long time ago. For instance, any British person, and this is 90% of us, who've ever used the word hangover are upset that we have one, but at this point are probably completely unaware that the word hangover originated in American English more than a century ago. Now, I wonder if British people at the time had the same reservations over the word hangover as they do quite a lot of American English. But then it got me thinking, we don't take any issue with most American English terms that make it over to Britain, whether it's military-derived words like radar or musical genres like jazz and rock and roll, or a word as simple as hello. American English and British English have long influenced each other and will continue to do so long after I'm dead. And on that happy note, it's time to get up off the sofa. And that's because I want to talk about one particular room in my house, and that is the mudroom. And even though you find mudrooms in other countries like Canada and even to some extent Britain, it just feels like more American houses have them. And you might be thinking, what is a mudroom? Well, a mudroom, as I've pointed out in previous videos, is a sort of entryway that just allows you to drag mud in there before you enter the main part of the house. I mean, that might not be its official purpose, but that's what I use it for. And especially since I got a dog. He likes to run around in this yard. Sometimes he drags me too. And so when we come back from doing
Some
that,
people have it
I make
inside their
sure we
house,
hang
though,
out in here
in the
first,
front.
so that I don't have to bother getting a towel and drying his feet off. But I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you the main reason that I've fallen in love with this mudroom is it's a very convenient place just to store rubbish. I don't mean mouldy rubbish like food or stuff like that, but just sort of empty boxes that I don't have room in the recycling bin for yet. I've just realised that everything on this list is something that I could live without if I wasn't lazy. But the fact of the matter is, I am, which brings us on to the final entry.
Some of
Over
us
the
are
last
lazy.
2 weeks, it's become very apparent to me that I
too.
couldn't make this video without including a piece of furniture that I spoke about a few weeks ago in a video all about American furniture, and that is Adirondack chairs. It's been a good few weeks. I've used them very often while sitting outside.
I like those chairs.
with
To me,
Arthur. Now,
those chairs are
granted,
comfortable.
It is the summer, so it sort of makes sense that I am out here, but I can imagine that I'll probably be using these in the height of winter, just not in a t-shirt, but a winter jacket. Because like vans, they are comfortable. And you might be thinking, aren't they just like a deck chair? And firstly, no, because you don't have to fold them up.
I don't know who made those chairs, but them chairs, I like those chairs. I sat on one of those, and I was surprised that it was comfortable. But if you sit on it for a long time, obviously you're gonna need some type of cushion. But yeah, you probably don't even need that neither. But they're comfortable.
Put them away. And secondly, on deck chairs, your arse doesn't fall back because there's not that diagonal slope. Whereas with these, there is, and again, appeals to my laziness. And then, of course, the arms that I spoke about in that video are majestic. I mean, you can fit your phone on it for one, and number two, you could probably play an entire board game. I've got this idea that my wife or friends will bring along their other Adirondack chair. Put it here so that they're sitting there, and we'll just put a board here, play checkers. The one thing that I didn't mention in that video is that they're really easy to clean, and I know that because they're constantly getting covered in bird shit. That is one of the downsides of having it under a magnolia tree, which is so massive I didn't really have any choice. So that's my list, or at least a partial list, because like I said, there's hundreds of other things that I could have included. And if this video does well, my producers say, then we'll do a part 2. If it tanks, then we'll just push that part 2 under the rug. If you did like this video and you were interested in what I was saying about my Adirondack chair, why not watch this video for furniture styles that I only encountered after moving to the United States. Until the next video, goodbye.
Goodbye. I like him. He's so funny. Yeah, those chairs are comfortable. They are. I sat on one and I was surprised. I was looking at it and I was like, them chairs probably not even comfortable. They look hard as hell. It's probably uncomfortable. But when I sat on it, I was like, whoa. At first I was like taken back because if you slide backwards, because it has like a little slope and you slide it back, it's like, I said, whoa, wait a minute. But it's comfortable though. I don't have one, of course, because I don't, I live in an apartment building. I don't have a backyard, but if I do, I'm definitely getting those chairs. Those chairs are comfortable. I'm not sure how much they cost, but I don't care. They're comfortable. But anyway, comment below. Let me know how y'all feel about this. And I'll see you lovely people. I'll see you beautiful, lovely people. I'll see you later. You take care of yourself. Okay? Take care of yourself. Peace.